What's up, UDGen? So today I'm going to be discussing a new project that I got myself in called HeadDAO. We're currently on their Discord. We're going to look over the tokenomics and kind of the overall, just how this thing works. Okay, so they have a NFT vault where they hold a bunch of blue chip NFTs. What the vault is meant to do is fractionalize blue chip NFTs to allow, an easier access into blue chip NFTs. So you stake your token or you stake your NFT to their website. And once you stake it, you start receiving their native token called Head. Currently, this is just some of the overview. So they have a current total supply of Head about 530 million. And you're staking, when you stake, it's 5 Head per day per staked token. So if you have an NFT and you had 5 of them, you're earning 25. If you have one, you're making 5. So that's how it worked. So eventually, what you can do once you've earned the head, you can stake it into a liquidity pool. And liquidity pool currently is paying out. It says is what is that? 2.7 million that they're going to be giving out over the next. Let's see how long. Oh, yeah, so basically the first 6 months they will be assigning about 30,000 head per day if you're currently in that liquidity pool. So looking on from there, so what do they own and why is this a project that you should be considering? So this project's currently run by Shamdu, which is a 16-year-old. I Oh, by the way, I actually misspelled Dow somehow right here. That's hilarious. Doa. So it's currently run by Shamdu. He's 16, badass. Totally a good follow. But currently the vault holds a CryptoPunk. You can just see they own a bunch of really good stuff. So what we were doing was we were going to calculate the intrinsic value of the utility of the actual project. So we can take the assumption that whatever we bought them for is really what we're going to say they're worth. We're not going to assume any value, but we're going to assume the value we paid for is what they're worth at the moment. So with that assumption, we took the total, which ended up being around 530 ETH or $2.4 million. And that was calculated by the current ETH price today. And this is November 13th, and it was 4.6K. So what I was able to do was overall extract, there's an intrinsic value about $248 per token. Now, the one thing that I failed to include, but I included in another take that I took earlier that I evidently had to delete, was the utility value of owning a Bored Ape Yacht Club. Oh no, I apologize. A Genesis Cyberkong. What did I say? Bored Ape Yacht Club. Yeah. So there is utility actually in owning a Genesis Cyberkong. So when you own a Genesis Cyberkong, I think it is paying around like $300,000 in value uh, over the year in bananas. So you could also value it like that, and we added 300,000 this, and you can see that there is an intrinsic value of $278, and that is like I said, it's the intrinsic value. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is exactly what it's totally worth. So when you look at like the stock market, for example, we can pull up the actual metric because um, I know off top head that the average PE ratio that people are looking, which is the price to earnings ratio, it's a common metric used in investment banking. It's kind of old math, but it's a good metric to kind of like know what you're paying versus what they're actually earning. So the average PE ratio that I believe is desirable is around 20. It's around 20 to 26. Probably New Age is more like 30. There you go. So historically, the S&P ranged from 13 to 15, and it trades at 25 right now. So that's a pretty good number that you should be looking for fair value. Something like Tesla, though, okay. So something like Tesla has a PE ratio, I believe in the 700s or 600s. Okay. At one point, Yeah, it was 875. Let's see what the current PE ratio. I know that they just started making money, so it's not as high as it once was. But anyways, what their current PE ratio is around 205. So that means that the price of the stock is 205 times more expensive than it really should be and more than they're actually earning. So we could use the PE ratio and we could do that metric to kind of calculate what would be a fair value. Or we could also use the price to book value. And so the price to book value basically is the book price to book ratio. Let's look at the uh, good, good, the good. All right. So anything traditionally under one is considered a good price to book value. Anything over kind of means it's overvalued. So we have all these assumptions, and we kind of get what I'm trying to say is that people tend to not pay exactly what things are worth. So, for example, this project's run by a really good influencer. His name's Shampoo. So smart. He's a great follow on Twitter. I actually will drop his Twitter down below because I love him that much. He is so funny. Anyways, yeah, he's a really smart kid. He's only 16 as well. Don't let that scare you. He has more than mess with more money than we will ever see in our lifetime. So considering that, people are sometimes willing to pay more than what they're actually valued because of a name. So for example, like I said, Elon Musk, people are willing to spend, 200 times earnings just because it's Elon Musk. So when we look at the utility value, the intrinsic value, it's 0.05, which is $248 that we actually own. You could look at what people could be paying if, say, it was trading 22 times what it should be worth. So considering that, it would have an intrinsic value of 1.16. And furthermore, you look at what these could possibly be worth in the future, especially a CryptoPunk. I think there is a real incentive to potentially own this because, like I said, these numbers are only what we bought them for. This is not what we sold them for, or that's not what we've even been offered. So yeah, you could look at something like 22 times, that's 1.16, or something a lot loftier valuation. It would put it at around 100 times. That would be 5.3 ETH. So taking those things in consideration, we can see a couple things. Right now, it's a little bit, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be staking. If you're staking right now, you most likely have too much money because on right now you're spending let's see what Gwei we're spending the exact number, but we're spending 104 Gwei per transaction, and I don't think people are going to want to be out the door spending $2,000 on staking and swapping their LP. So when you're only staking and swapping your LP, and you're not really receiving anything, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do it. So the current price for this project, you can find this on Dextool or on their Discord, but it's currently trading at around 77 cents. So you are making about you know $3.89 every single day in head, and you can also assume if you're going to look at it like that, $3.89 times 365, you know times 365, that puts you at $1,400 a year that you're yielding passively. It sounds pretty good to me. And this is just only the current price. We could even look at more of like, the high. So if we look at the high and we calculate this times, 360, geez, why did it do that? Times 365, you can look at it's more like $83,000. So that's if we're taking the high versus the low. And I think, long-term head could perform pretty well, especially as more and more of these are staked. So overall, my overall thesis on this is uh, this project has, value. It has value, and the value is, most of it is intrinsic. And when you look at it like that, I think it's important because you're understanding what you're actually holding. So overall, I guess I'm not really going to give you totally a plan of action, but I will mention When you take the market price right here of 0.315 ETH, you subtract the intrinsic value, you're spending about 0.265 ETH on a project with a top name influencer, um, a great community. They have a great Discord. There's plenty of good shilling. It's not just shilling that's bad and some project that you've never even heard of. These are things that the alpha is just ridiculous. So what I'm trying to say is you're spending 0.265 ETH on some of those perks and potentially could be incentivized by that. I don't know. You guys think about it, but I will say I was happy to kind of do